Hi guys, my name is Jack Don, and welcome to my Eagle project. This project will be performed at the Buddha Gate Monastery up at Lafayette. In this project, we will be planting 7 trees behind these statues. We will also be installing irrigation and protection systems. These statues are very important to the monastery. Please show your respect by avoiding contact through touching, leaning, sitting, or setting tools on them. Thank you for your cooperation. Make sure you guys wear gloves before getting to work. Without gloves, hazards such as blisters or bruises could come up. Thank you. In my project, we will be using these tools. These tools may vary from a wheelbarrow, various types of shovels, digging bars, pickaxes, and even a hoe. First, we'll be going over the rake. The rake is used to clean up topsoil from things such as mulch or dry leaves. Please use it as so. There will be 2 different types of shovels used in my project. The first of them has a longer hilt and the metal area is more curved. This is for loose soil or soft soil and will be used for mixing the manure and soil. The second shovel is the more important one. It has a T-hilt, and the metal area is longer and sharper than the first one. On here, there's a flat area that is designed for your foot to step on for the most productivity possible.
This is another example of using this shovel for vertical digging.
Next is the pickaxe. It is used for digging hard soil that is too hard for shovels to dig up. There are 2 ends. One is a pointed end used for harder soil, and the other is a flat end used for softer soil. This is a heavy tool, and you must be 14 years or above to use it. When using it, stand in a sturdy position. Be wary of your surroundings, and make sure that there is a clear area around you. Do not swing from all the way back here. Swing it from up here, and do not exert too much force when swinging it. Let the weight of the pickaxe come down on its own. When using a pickaxe in the presence of other group members, make sure the area around you is clear. Do not raise it too high, like so. You may hit people behind you, and you may lose balance. You can still achieve the workload by only going about this high. Next is the digging bar. This is another heavy tool that requires you to be of at least 14 years of age in order to use. There are 2 different areas. The pointed tip, which is used for extremely hard soil, and the tip that we will be using in my project, which is flatter, and for digging the edges of holes straight down. When using it, make sure you have stable footing. Make sure the area around you is clear, and do not use too much force when you put it down. Let the weight of the tool do its work. Then, there's the wheelbarrow. This is another heavy tool that requires you to be of at least 14 years of age. It will be used to transport our trees. Please maintain your balance when using it to avoid injury of others and yourself. This circle is about 3 feet in diameter, and that diameter is the diameter of the hole that you guys will be digging. I will soak the soil a couple days beforehand to make it easier for you guys to dig. When you start digging, you should start with this shovel. You should use it to clear the edges of the circle out first.
Shovel. called that one?
After the circle has been defined, start using other tools to do the job.
Each hole will have 3 people digging it at a time. Please work together to ensure the most productivity.
Every now and then, check if your hole is roughly 3 feet in diameter. You may then check the depth to see how much progress you have made. Once you have hit 2.5 feet, you will have been finished with the hole. Okay guys, so this is the hole that we dug. It's about 3 feet in diameter and it's about 2.5 feet deep from the center. This is a great job, it's a good hole. It took a 3-man group made up of teens about 2 hours. So be prepared for the job, guys. So this hole is about 2.5 feet deep and we'll have a younger scout jump in there and we'll see just how far it reaches. So like for a younger scout, it probably reaches to about their halfway point, their hips. So you can use younger scouts as a small reference point for a bit of estimation if you guys don't have a roller. But yeah. Before digging up the trees, there are a few preparational steps that we have to take. As you can see, these trees are surrounded by fencing. We will have to take that out first. And then afterwards, we will have to rake out the mulch that is on the ground around the trees, like so. These are gopher wire baskets that will be used for the protection systems in my Eagle project. The hole sizes are about 3/4 inches. This is so that they are small enough so that gophers will not be able to pass them and that roots will not be interrupted when growing. The gauge is 20. This is so that it will be able to last about 2 to 3 years, and after it erodes, then the roots will have grown and developed on their own and they will be strong enough to survive. Finally, the volume is about 15 gallons. For our protection systems, we'll be installing gopher wire baskets. Here's the finished product. However, starting off, we'll have these. It has not been opened up and it has been folded. So our first order of business will be to straighten it out. Don't be afraid to step on it and turn it over, step on it, and don't be afraid to fold it the opposite direction in order to get it straight. Okay, so just bend this out slowly, like this, and carefully, and gradually. And then when you're done with a portion of one side, go to the other to make sure that they're opening up at the same time. After it gets a little deep, you might have to use one of your feet and put it in order to make it easier for you to fold it. Like the first part, do it carefully and make sure that both sides are folding at about the same rate. After we have successfully opened up the wire basket, make sure the bottom is essentially round. Then, measure 5 inches on each of the side pillars. Secure the measurement with your plier and then bend down from up here. After you're done folding the pillar, turn it over and then make the bottom flat with your foot from the top side. Eventually you'll end up with a nice gopher basket that's all opened up and round like this one. It will be about 18 inches in diameter and about 20 inches in depth. Before we dig up the trees, another one of the steps that we have to do is to remove the fencing.
Oh fuck. Take them up.
Okay, so we're going to make a 1.5 foot diameter circle. So as you guys know, the radius is half of a circle, half the circle's diameter. So half of 1.5 feet is 9 inches. So now we have measured the length of this rope to be about 9 inches, and then we've tied it to a stick. And then we're going to have the stick pull the rope around the tree, and then this will keep the stick 9 inches away from the tree and thus forming a 1.5 foot diameter circle. Each circle will be marked by red spray paint, and each circle is about 1.5 foot in diameter. You're going to dig a trench outside of the circle in order to form a root ball. Before you start digging, make sure that the initial sprinkler system has been removed or put to the side. When you guys dig, you guys need to dig along the line, okay? Outside of the line. You need to make sure that the line is still intact after you've dug the trench. And you guys need to watch out for this irrigation pipe right here. Make sure not to break it because it's still operational. Alright guys, in order to dig up a root ball, you need to use these shovels that have T handles, okay? You need to bend down low and then you need to vertically jam it in there, okay? And then after you've gotten it deep enough, you can come out and then you can take a normal shovel and then you can dig it up. Alright, so this is about a medium-sized bamboo root that we ran into right here. And when you run into these roots, you need to cut them so they don't get in the way of your digging. So I'm going to use a lopper. And since it's already exposed, you just put it in between the two blades and then you close it like a pair of scissors. Okay guys, so this is a bigger sized root than the one before. So we're going to have to use a pruning saw in order to cut it. Just hold it steady with one hand and just saw away at it. Like so. So now we're done with digging the trench around the root ball, and you guys can see that it's about 1.5 feet deep. So now we're gonna start cutting into the bottom of the root ball using these round tipped shovels, one side at a time. And then you just continue around until every side has been hit.
Oh, man.
And then you just prop it up.
Make sure you dig horizontally under the root ball on all sides, and make sure that all sides are clear of roots before you lift the root ball up for transportation.
In order to take out the root ball, you first need to have all 3 people in place. 2 people will each have a shovel, and they'll have them positioned opposite to the 3rd person. These 2 people will push the root ball forward towards the 3rd person with their shovels, and the 3rd person will pull. So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've removed the root ball from the original area, and now we're going to shape it a little, shave off some dirt to make sure that it can fit into this gopher wire basket right here. Okay, so now we have shaved the root ball to the right size so that it can fit into the gopher wire basket, and now we're just going to lift it onto the wheelbarrow for transportation. Okay, so in order to operate this wheelbarrow, you need to be at least 14 years old, and you need a second support person that is holding the tree so that you don't lose balance. This took us about 2 hours for digging up the tree root ball. I think that is a job well done.
Don't run over my foot.
Can't be run over. Okay, so now we're going to be preparing the deep root pipes, and we're going to cut them into 3-foot long pieces using this handsaw right here. Okay, so now we're going to install irrigation, and what I'm holding in my left hand is a flood bubbler that flows at about 2 gallons per hour. What I have in my right hand is a roll of thread steel tape. This is used to cover up any spaces between the threads of anything that needs screwing in. Now, when you apply it, you need to apply it the way that the thread tightens, and in this case, that would be clockwise. And now, you just roll it up, and then you break it, and then
Screw the irrigation nipple onto the T-junction tightly.
So now we're going to install irrigation, and before we install the deep root pipes, we need to drill holes in them about 1/4 inch in diameter, which will be used with this power tool called the power drill right here. We need to wear gloves, and you also need to wear eye protection before using these tools. Now I just drilled 1 hole. Now we're going to drill 4 more holes, and we're going to drill 2 more columns. So right here we have a completed deep root pipe right here. As you can see, there are various amounts of holes on various amounts of columns, and if you notice, there will be 2 rather large holes that are large enough for us to fit through a 3/4 inch PVC pipe. In order to connect the PVC pipes in our irrigation system, like so, we first need to apply PVC cement. We have 2 different types of cement. We have the normal clear version, which dries in about 2 hours, and the red hot blue glue, which will dry in about 15 minutes. In order to use the one that dries in 2 hours, we will first need to apply a primer, which will allow it to stick on better. So the first step we have to take in order to connect our PVC pipes into the irrigation system is that we need to make sure that these are clean, and we need to start applying the primer. And right now, all the sides that need application are clean, so I'm going to go ahead and start applying it. so now I'm going to apply the cement. And now we're going to put it in. Guys, this is preparation before we put the irrigation pipe into the hole. So now before we put in the tree, we need to mix the manure and the soil. So go ahead and open that and dump the entire thing in. And then we're gonna mix it about 50-50.
Here we are mixing the manure and soil in a container. However, you can also do it on the ground next to the hole.
Now, in order to mix it, you guys need to put your shovel in, pick it up, and then pour it down. You need to go all the way down deep, take it up, and then you turn it over. So now we have completely mixed the soil and the manure. So before you fill in the hole, make sure that the cap is on and that the cap is covered, so that we make sure that no manure goes into the goes into the pipe. And then when you're filling in the hole with manure, make sure one person is steadying the deep root pipe so that it does not move while the dirt is being put in.
Why don't we just dump the box in?
It's really heavy. It's like heavier than the tree.
Don't dump manure on me.
Okay, so after the first layer and the other layers of manure and soil mix are put in, you need to soak each layer to make sure that each layer is moist so that the tree will have necessary nutrients. Okay, so we've filled the hole up now, and now I'm gonna measure it. It's about 19 inches, which is the height of the gopher net. So now we are able to put it in. So I'll just clear the way out, and now we're gonna lift this thing. And we're gonna put it in.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay guys, so we filled the hole up entirely, and our final order of business will be to cover up this result with some mulch and make sure not to get it into the gopher wire area.
下次 mulch 可以多拿一点，没关系。漂亮哦，好厉害哦。
Say something.
This will be the final result of Jack Dong's Eagle project. Thank you.